This is Chuck Heston. I was asked by a dear mutual friend of ours to call you and offer a modicum of, well, what one might call comfort in this difficult time in our nation. And by our nation, I mean the nation. The greatest damn country that's ever existed, pre or post Magna Carta. And there is a news story that has reared its ugly head in the current climate of this great nation. This time, the story is about an official, or dare I say former official, who, as a representative of the highest office of this nation, has contracted the COVID. Former Mayor Rudy Judiany apparently has been afflicted with said disease, and as a consequence has been hospitalized. I find it quite cruel. There is a sense of indolence, a lack of compassion, patience, and tolerance for a man who single-handedly brought our country together after one of the most disastrous attacks on our nation in modern history. He has been a dedicated servant to truth, justice, and the American way. As mayor with the Broken Windowsills program, he found a way to clean up that filthy city. No longer would buckets of urine be squeegeed on your car at intersections, or youngsters with long, saggy pants be parading around and distracting you from your purchasing or God knows whatever you were doing. He literally cleaned up the rat-infested hellhole that was Times Square, and as a consequence, prevented that city from becoming the dystopian vision which I actually portrayed in a little picture called The Omega Man. A picture in which I had the first interracial kiss on camera. I don't know if I mentioned that before. In any event, as Mr. Rudy Judiany struggles with the COVID, I send him my well wishes, and I ask that we go easy on him, like we did after 9/11, because after all, he is America's mayor still, even though the walkie-talkies that were provided to the police and firemen couldn't communicate with one another on that dreadful day, and the city had been aware of that for years. And even though he decided to move the emergency headquarters into said World Trade Center, which went against the recommendations of most security people of that era, we can still salute him and wish him well on this day. We needn't forget the hair dye that dripped down his cheeks. We've all had days like that, when we've made the bold mistake of using the spray-on dye as opposed to the wash-in dye. I had a chat with the late Elvis Presley, where he too had to deal with the consequences of that mistake. So there's nothing new on planet Earth. So my heart and my hand go out to Mr. Rudy Judiany, and I wish him well, and I wish that this great nation would come together as one. And as the Electoral College sends its votes to be ratified, hopefully we can come together. And hopefully the Democratic Party will reach out to those 70 million people who supported our great leader. Hopefully they can reach out to people who were comfortable with the phrase, Mexico is sending us rapists and murderers. Hopefully we can reach out to people who were okay with good people on both sides. Hopefully we can reach out to people who believe in QAnon, basically an idea that has been based on the protocols of the elders of Zion. How strange to see anti-Semitic ideology from the early 1900s in Russia rearing its ugly head in our great nation. But then homophobia, anti-Semitica, misogyny has always existed in some of the greatest books that have ever been written. It transformed my belief system, simplified it, made it digestible, made it more black and white, or should I say African American and white, lest I be labeled a racist, right-leaning maniac. Nothing could be further from the truth. So this holiday season, we must remember that we cannot let this war on Christmas continue. And hopefully someday, when another majority runs this great nation and tries to inflict its religious beliefs upon us, and our experiment called America, and how we dress, and what we eat, and the songs we hear in our department stores, perhaps then and only then will we realize that there is no place for religion in government unless that religion is the NRA. This is Chuck Heston from my cold, dead hand.